Synopsis of the Books of the Bible by J.N. Darby. Genesis chapter 18. The seed of promise, the heir of the world, and the present object of hope. Chapter 18 is again a new unfolding of God's ways, here especially in connection with the seed, already in a general way as part of God's purpose that it should be Abraham's seed according to the grace and promise when Hesh had no hope, and not according to the flesh, but now specifically revealed as a present thing to Abraham. The seed of promise is here the main object in view, and the present intimate object of hope. This is so on the end of chapter 21, but I apprehend he, see note, is here seen as heir of the world and judge, while Abraham's personal relationship with God is in grace by promise when he was not seen, and so far had the ground of faith, in figure a Christian's portion. Hence God himself being known, not merely his gifts, Abraham raises higher than in chapter 15, and instead of asking gifts for himself, intercedes for others. All is the effect of gifts of the heir being known. After chapter 22, the proper figure of the church, as yet unrevealed, comes in. Because the seed is raised, we get, however, great individual principles here. Note, that is the seed. But who is with Jehovah the first and the last? End of note. Abraham's visitor, the rebuke of unbelief. Abraham is according to the divine presence and is quickly felt by him, and although he says nothing referring to the divine glory till the Lord is pleased to discover himself, yet from the first he acts with an intuitive defense which was as fully accepted by him who came. In verse 3, Abraham addresses himself to one, yet speaks in the hospitable to call all. And to this they all answer and inquire withal for Sarah. But in verse 10, it is again individual, an effectual promise of the Lord in the rebuke of Sarah's unbelief. Jehovah reveals himself. He judges flesh and its unbelief, as he promised. Abraham accompanies the three on their way to go, and Abraham is left alone with Jehovah. In the respect, it is a lovely scene of holy covenantness, and yet deferably waiting on the good pleasure of God. The immediate promise of the arrival of the seed is given. Abraham enjoys the most intimate communion with Jehovah, who reveals his counsel to him as to his friend. Intercession is the fruit of the revelation. Compare Isaiah 6. Judgment falls on the world, and withering Abraham on the top of the mountain communes with God of the judgment which was to fall upon the world below, whence he was not Lot, who had taken his place in it, is saved so by fire. Righteousness, which walks with the world, puts itself in the position of judge, and is at the same time useless and intolerable. Abraham escaped all judgment and sees it from on high. Lot is saved from the judgment which falls upon the world in which he found himself. The place where Abraham enjoyed God is for him a place of three stately and fear. He is forced to take refuge there in the end because he is afraid to be anywhere else. Communion and intercession, and patience and perfectness of judgment with God. In general, Abraham had the character here of communion with God, which faith without sight gives, not by the indwelling Holy Ghost, no doubt according to the privilege of the saints now, that was reserved for the time of fuller blessing, when the church head should be glorified, but in the general character of the blessing. The promised seed is announced as to come, but not yet brought into the world. That is the way of manifestation, glory. Meanwhile, Abraham knows and believes it. God then treats him, as we have seen, as a friend, and tells him not what concerns himself, but the world. With a friend I speak of what I have in my heart, not merely of my business with him. And then, as he had received these communications from God, so he intercedes with God, a stranger in the place of promise on high, a communion with him. And this is still more the place of the saints, now through the Holy Ghost, the full communion of the mind and the ways of God in the world, and the Lord coming to take them up, so that this is the scene. They live by faith and founded on that coming intercession. Abraham had the promise of the heir for himself already. Here he is the vessel of divine knowledge of the concerns that world too. This puts him in the place of full grace, and so of intercession. His faith associates him with the mind and the character of God. It brings out withal the patience and the perfectness, the judgment with God.